Good morning, ladies. Welcome to the Women's Wellness Community on Friday, December the 12th. And so we will be together next week on the 19th, and then I'll keep you posted. There will be a couple of sessions that will shift. Speaking of actually shifting, that's what I wanted to come into our live session with today. So welcome as you are popping on, and welcome to everybody, longtime Women's Wellness Community members, and for those of you that have popped on, come into the group in the last few weeks through the Habit Thrive podcast. So I am really enjoying that connection. Good morning. I can see Cheryl coming on and Sandra coming on. So that again, feeling of connection and integration and synchronicity. I'm still riding that full moon. Right, that goes on probably for a few days, but I'm still riding it here. So as we are still doing some shifting, I also want to acknowledge the number of you who replied to my email or posted on, sent me a message through Instagram, or just let me know on the street, which of course I love as well, the shifting that you've been doing, because we've been talking about that with the full moon. That was my last podcast episode. What can you shift to make a little bit more space in your day? And the things that came up, amazing, wonderful, everything from our thoughts of things do not have to be perfect. This is good enough right here, right now for this season, for this time of my life. And then into, I had more support for my cleaning. All right, I increased that over the holidays, having someone come in to help with the house. I had shifting actually getting up early, and shifting into allowing for a sleep in, right? That is shifting. We had some shifting of decorating. We had some shifting of, oh my gosh, it was really interesting. So around our thoughts, around our physical space in our house, around shifting of expectations. And so all of that's why I love having these conversations. And so continue. Good morning, Mom. Continuing with that shifting, particularly again over the next couple of weeks. So to connect what I am doing with the podcast, I'm going to say this whole month as we continue into December, is sharing some of my favorite podcasts, my favorite podcast episodes, as well as highlighting some of those episodes from a habit, routine, and ritual standpoint. So again, sometimes I'm like that. I mean, I get excited, I hear a podcast episode, and I'm like, yes. And then, so what do I do? Now, sometimes, right, we just want to listen to the episode. It's not about having to do something out of every single episode, but the concept of going in with intention of, these are the podcasts that I listen to if I need a kick in the bum, right? These are the podcasts that I listen to if I just want to be entertained. I want to feel better. I need help with something, right? Like decluttering. There's so many wonderful decluttering podcasts that make decluttering more fun, I'm going to say. And so that's the theme moving into December. So on that note, hi Shanna, welcome. On that note, if you have a favorite podcast that you're following and you're thinking, I would like to share that with more people, I will mention as well podcasts that are recommended by other listeners, because again, we're all there's a lot of things that we have in terms of the same interest. And so if that speaks to you, let me know as well. And this will be for the month of December. So on this week's episode, I started about talking about the benefits of resting our eyes and listening. So just fun to play with. Important to play with as I do more research on my eyes. The number of, I'm not going to say issues, I'm going to say things that come up for women post 50-ish in terms of our eyes. Yes, it's even related to hormonal changes. So this focus on our eyes is extremely powerful. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, right? Being able to go in and listen inward. So that's what we're going to play with today. So to pay attention to our eyes a little bit, to give our eyes a little bit of TLC as we start off, because we're going to rest them as our ears are the star for this meditation today. But with our eyes and that connection to our ears, I'd like you to just take your fingers very lightly and just around your temples, right? The sides of your eyes, gentle circles. And sometimes even as you do that, as you circle around, you might notice that there's some tension. Sometimes it's because, right, we've been clenching our jaw. Sometimes I do that. It's not a, let's say, a habit from my perspective. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Sometimes when I do these movements and I notice, right, I come down around here, kind of feel like I might have been doing some clenching. So you have that connection between your eyes to your ears, this open space right here, right? So when you do that little massage, you're feeling that connection and that opening between your eyes to your ears. You can lightly close your eyes as you're doing that and just let your fingers get guided down. Sometimes they're going to get guided down again to the side of your jaw. Sometimes they're going to be guided up a little bit higher. And then out of curiosity, again, if there's a little bit of tension, you can know that, yeah, I'm going to come back to this. And then we're going to just let the fingers rest down. I'm reminded too of the light tapping. I'd like to do that actually before we finish this year, come into some tapping. I think of the tapping again as very connecting. It's emotional release that we're doing, and it's very physical, right? We can't separate the two, and we don't want to separate the two. So just having done that, right? Just notice. We do a little bit of open and close. This is a lion's breath where we are opening the mouth and giving the eyes a little bit of a wider. Right? You can open the eyes a little wider, open your mouth, and always being mindful of that. If your jaw does tend to lock, again, you just want to do this gently. But this opening, you're looking up with your eyes, you're giving your eyes a little stretch. You can give that jaw a little stretch by opening. Right. I'm not doing the lion's roar this morning. That's kind of a half lion's breath there. But just simply doing that eyes open and that feeling of stretching. Yeah, sometimes it's around here, and it just feels so good to soften your gaze, to soften around your face. Sometimes it's going to feel tight though, right? You kind of notice, you go, oh, yeah, I need to do a little bit more hydration, right? There's lots of information that comes from that. And so now our eyes are ready for the day, let's say, in a sense, but I am going to speak a little bit more to how we soften our eyes as we bring our attention to our ears. So from here, we're just going to do a little bit of tightening of the eye. So this is progressive muscle relaxation, where we teach our different areas of our body how to relax. So closing your eyes, and I'd like you to just close your eyes a little bit tighter. Not 100%, but just so that you don't sense that lightness outside your eyes. You're just tightening a little bit, like squinting them a little bit more, 50% effort. And then softly, you're not opening them yet, but you're just letting the muscles around your eyes relax. You can feel that connection again up towards your forehead, around the side of your eyes to the rest of your face. And you're starting to sense that light coming in. You might be kind of lifting your eyelids and your eyebrows a little bit, just to start to allow that light to come in. And then just starting to, again, flutter them open. And as they flutter open, you can just notice where they're drawn to. If it feels like you want to bring your fingertips back to the sides of your eyes here for a moment. And it doesn't take a lot of effort. As I say, when I do this with progressive muscle relaxation and you're playing with that, and it's a very small effort of teaching your body the difference between being tight and tense and being relaxed and open. So we feel that softness around the eyes. Now from here, we're going to take our attention to our ears. And I'd like you to just do a very gentle on your earlobe. Just going to do a gentle tug. Just very, very little. And you're just going to go up the sides a little bit. Just going to gently draw the outside of the ear out here. And sometimes just doing that is like when you get, we're going to come back to that water theme, right? Kind of like you just want to open up. It feels like it's plugged and it's like, oh, there's that openness. So what I'm doing is I'm starting on this lobe. I'm doing a little bit of a tug. And I'm just going up the side of the ear and just pulling out here a little bit. Just opening up for some sounds. Very, very gentle. And then coming back again. You might come back to the temple, right? It might be something that you're doing with your eyes. You feel that connection down through that throat chakra. And that feeling now, right, of being a little bit more awake, being a little more open, being able to receive as we bring sights in, as we bring sounds in. Now from here, as we come to our listening and resting our eyes, okay, I'm just going to guide you through this, but you might just find your own pathway as we're doing this as well. So if you'd like to softly, again, now that you have that feeling of softly closing your eyes, Feel the softness around the eyelids again. The sides of the eyes, under the eyes. You're sensing the light outside of your eyelids. They're not closed tight. Your jaw's relaxed. Your ears are relaxed. It's a funny feeling, but you'll notice. Connect in with your breath. You're feeling the air coming in through your nose. Again, that connection, right? Our nose to our eyes, to our ears. Pathways open. Open to receive the breath. Open to receive sounds or sight or images. Right? But right now our eyes are softly closed. And the senses are open to sounds and sensations as you think of your nose is open. It's drawing in air. Your ears are open to receive sounds. And in this first part of our meditation, just receive the sounds. We're not looking for sounds. It's interesting. Just receive the sounds that are coming in. And because we're used to naming and labeling, as you receive the sounds in, you can label them associated with something, or you can name the sound. Could be ticking or clicking. Could be wind or traffic. Just receive the sounds that are already there. And now notice the difference if you go out and just search for some more sound. If there are sounds of traffic, if there are sounds of appliances, if there are sounds of televisions or something going in the background, as you have received some of these sounds in, just notice if there are more sounds or a different sound around the sound that you're listening to. I'll give you the example of I'm hearing traffic. But I'm also hearing the movement of snow or slush. There are sounds within the sounds. We're listening deeper. And keep breathing. As we dig deeper, sometimes we hold our breath. And noticing as you are digging deeper with the sensation of listening and hearing and sounds. Notice if there are other sensations arising in your body. And on that note, as we go from receiving sounds and searching for sounds, let's bring our attention inward to the sound of our body. Might even try a light ujjayi breath to hear and feel your breath. Sound of your breath. My stomach just delivered a little gurgle to say, I'm here too. And a light ujjayi breath is just a little bit of resistance to your exhalation with your mouth closed. Ocean sounding breath. And now just allow the sounds. Kind of just a free-for-all now of sounds coming in, receiving some, searching for some, listening for more. Again, finally, to notice if there are any sensations in your body of tingling or lightness or vibrations. As you are tuning in to everything around you, tuning into your inner environment, and perhaps feeling a little bit more awake, a little bit more alive. And when you're ready, Starting again to feel the various stages of opening your eyes, of just kind of lifting your eyelids a little bit, your eyebrows, letting the light in a little bit more. Again, when your eyes open, giving them some TLC. You want to bring your fingertips back and around. And that is mindfulness meditation, using our sense of our hearing, sounds to have us tune in, to connect, to rest our eyes. And so thank you so much, everybody. I feel like somebody just did this. As you start to stretch and move, and just notice. My gosh, I was vibrating a little bit. It was a little bit of a very different sensation this morning. So this is why I love doing this, and love doing this with all of you. So have a fantastic rest of your Friday. Continue shifting, everybody. Enjoy the podcast this weekend as well. And again, share any podcasts that you think, others would enjoy. This is what it's all about. So as we bring our hands together, namaste. Namaste, everyone. And we'll see you next week.